Hey guys, I was recently asked by Jeff from mynameisirl.com to answer a few questions on the season so far on hinchtown.com and on a bunch of other little things. So here are those questions answered on video for your enjoyment.
First question I asked for you is, how did Hinchtown come about?
Hinchtown?
Yes.
Does
Hinchtown
he
is in quotes.
Does he
yes.
have the air quotes in there?
Well,
Does he say use air quotes when saying Hinchtown?
No. But I wanted to emphasize his quotes.
All right. Hinchtown came about, basically how it happens is when two people really love each other. Oh, no, wait. Sorry, that's a different creation story. Hinchtown came about during the winter of January-ish 2006, before my first season in Atlantic. I was working with a company at the time called Acme Branding Company, and they sort of had the vision for some sort of little world on the internet, and we debated about the name and came up with Hinchtown instead of Hinchville or James Country or some other terribly uncreative thing. And basically it was just us sitting around a desk for several hours pounding out ideas, and the first iteration of Hinchtown came to be.
So is this do you have a legion of techies building you a site, or is this all your own doing?
Well, I certainly didn't build the site by myself, no. I have a couple guys who helped put together the new one that launched before this year, Hinchtown.com 2.0. And I do all the update stuff myself, though. All the the blogs, the pictures, the videos, everything that goes up on this site, I do myself. So it's sort of a team effort for sure.
Speaking of the Hinchtown 2.0, the bottom of the site of Hinchtown.com now reads, now with 10% more Hinch.
Yes, 10% more Hinch.
Does this mean you've put on weight?
No, 10% more Hinch is just, we're aiming for more content. Although if you're saying maybe I have put on weight, you're kind of making me a bit self-conscious here. The camera adds 10 pounds, all right? It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
All right, you've got the Hinchtown site, you're on Twitter, you're on YouTube, and you're working on broadcasts.
Yes.
Are you internationally building a brand, or are you just doing this all for fun?
Well, I'm sort of an international man of mystery. I don't know if you knew that. All of my different mediums are used to sort of reach that broad audience. No, for me, it's getting my name out there, and I like to think that I've got some things to share that people think are worth hearing. So I'm just trying to do what I can to sort of get it out there.
This year you did some pit lane reporting for A1GP. How did you manage to score that job?
I lost a bet. The A1GP thing sort of came around. It was one of those bittersweet situations because at the end of season 3, the boss of TV, I don't really know what his title is, to be honest. He came to me at the banquet at the end of the year and said, hey, look, if for whatever reason there isn't a Team Canada and you're not driving, we'd really like you to be part of the production team. And I said, sure, great, appreciate the offer, very flattering, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in the car. Lo and behold, there was no Team Canada for season 4, so I've actually got these theories that maybe he had something to do with it because he wanted me to be a pit lane reporter, and he somehow got Canada on the chopping block. But that was sort of how it all came together. It was just I'd done it as a guest sort of pit lane reporter for one race that year, and they thought I did a good enough job. God knows why, and decided to offer me a job from it.
So then, how difficult was it for you to watch other drivers racing in A1GP this year while you were unable to?
It was like watching somebody date your girlfriend every single weekend. It was tough, but the first race was for sure the toughest, being there and not driving, because I've never been at a racetrack working without driving. That was the only reason I've ever really gone. And so to be there in a different capacity, every time I go to a racetrack, no matter what series I'm in or what country or what car, I have sort of the same-ish routine. It's, get there, it's driver's meetings, it's practice, qualifying, and races. So I had to completely change that when I started doing the broadcasting and the pit lane reporting. So that sort of threw me for a loop for a bit, but I got used to it and ended up really enjoying the experience.
They kind of sort of look similar, but how similar is the Indy Lights car to the ones you've raced in A1GP and Atlantics?
The Indy Lights car definitely is a bit different. The A1 car, in fact, the A1 car that I raced was pretty similar to the Indy Lights car. The Atlantic car was a bit different. It had more downforce, less power, where the Indy Lights cars got more power, less downforce. So it actually requires pretty different driving style. So not a whole lot transferred over, but I'd say that the A1 was maybe a little bit closer, but that still had even more power, and again, a little bit more grip.
Since this is the same car driven by former Firestone Indy Lights champions like Jay Howard and Alex Lloyd, would you say being the guy in the number 7 car brings a certain set of expectations?
Well, there's no doubt that the number 7 car has been really successful in the past, and I think that any driver actually puts more pressure and expectations on themselves than any amount of team history or, success from other drivers in the past really could. So I think it's an honor more than a burden of having to carry that number and having extra pressure.
This is your first year that you've raced on ovals. How do you feel you've adapted to them so far?
I've really enjoyed my time on the ovals, to be honest, and when I was racing another series, everyone who, against guys who hadn't really been on ovals, everyone's kind of goes, oh, ovals, I don't know about those. And you get on them, and it's really a completely different thing, but it's a lot of fun, and I think I've adapted pretty well. We've had some not great luck, actually, in some of the oval races so far, but, we still have a couple left, and I'm really looking forward to getting some strong results on them.
So being from Ontario, will you be putting any added pressure on yourself to win in Toronto this year?
I don't think there's any way I could put more pressure on myself in any race. It's the same deal. It's just a racetrack and it's another race, and you want to win them all. I think the only time that Toronto would feel different is after the race, if I had one. I think it would mean more afterwards. You wouldn't be thinking about it at the time, but certainly when that checkered flag fell and if I was staying on the top step of the podium, having my countrymen and being in my hometown there, I think that'd be a little bit special for sure.
So Jeff has to know your trademark facial hair. Is this an homage to Chuck Norris, NHL playoff beards, or lumberjacks?
It's got to be Chuck Norris. I mean, let's be honest. That guy's just pretty much the most badass individual in the history of the world. And like Chuck, underneath this, I don't have a chin. It's just a third fist.
I've heard that when you were asked at the beginning of the season what your goals were, you responded with world domination.
Yes.
Hasn't Danica Patrick already achieved this?
Danica certainly does have a leg up on me in the whole world domination thing. I have yet to have been asked to do a shower scene in a commercial. I long for the day where that happens, although she probably pulled it off better than I ever could. So maybe what I need to do is actually align myself with Danica, and together we could take over the world. Because, there's going to be parts that maybe she won't be able to reach, or... No, let's be honest, everybody loves Danica. I really have no hope, do I?
Nickelback. National treasure or shame of Canadians everywhere.
It's funny you bring up Nickelback, because traditionally, when you talk to people, they sort of talk like Nickelback's a national shame, but when you really look at it, Nickelback's got a ton of hit songs, and I think what people really realized, I actually went to a Nickelback concert, and I left liking them a lot more than I did when I went in, and I think the conclusion we all sort of came to was, people like Nickelback, people don't like Chad Kroeger.
Lastly, Hinch, the mayor, are there any other titles / nicknames we should be aware of?
None that I can repeat on camera. Although, I used to get, my mom used to give me, what was the nickname she had for me? It was something like, hey, you stop doing that, or the annoying one, things like that. So, but the ones that I get regularly these days, I don't know if they should be repeated. They might tarnish my image. Yeah. Take 2. I'm hungry. Is that relevant? No? You know what the thing is about Chad Kroeger? You can never trust a man who has blonde hair and a brown beard. That just seems fundamentally wrong to me. Don't you agree? I think there's just... If you're gonna dye something, I mean, do the... It's not the music. Music's alright.
Chocolate.
Oh, yeah. Don't make me run, I'm full of chocolate.
Oh, there it is.
Anything else?
Yep.
I love fishes because they're so delicious.
No, it's so weird she's on the